Great morning to the grinders, the go-getters, and the champions. And I know today is Sunday, so if you missed church, don't worry about it because I have the message right here for you. So what I want you to do is go to a quiet place and just listen. I remember growing up, a friend of mine, he was an athlete, and his goal, his dream was to become world champion as a boxer. So he told me a story once when he was at an Olympic training facility and he ran into all other athletes who were on their road to the Olympics. He said he came across some volleyball players, and it struck him quite strange that these volleyball players had a very lackadaisical and lethargic approach to their training, and he couldn't figure out why. But he said upon engaging in conversation with them, he figured out why. He said they came from very well-to-do families. So, even if they didn't attain success in volleyball, they had a security blanket, a security net to fall into because their families had the resources and the finances to place them in favorable positions in whatever they pursued in life. They had the resources. But he said he didn't have those same resources. The only damn resource he had was his will, his determination, his work ethic, and his self-belief. And he wasn't so lucky to come from a well-to-do family. He came from poverty. So he knew that if he didn't make it in boxing, he had to return to poverty. So, with his knowledge in that, he knew that he had to have a different sense of urgency than those volleyball players. So, the question I pose to you is, are you where you want to be in life? If you answer no to this question, then why in the hell are you approaching life like those volleyball players, so lackadaisical and lethargic? You better develop a great sense of urgency and push as hard as you damn can to change your circumstances. The second story I'll share with you is this. I remember I had a conversation with a young man, and during that conversation, he told me that he wanted to be rich. So don't we all? So, I recommended 5 books to him that would help him tremendously in his journey to becoming rich. So a couple weeks went by and I seen the young man again. And I asked him, did you get the books? And from his reaction, I can tell that the answer to that question was no. So he told me that he put the books in his basket to purchase them later. So that made me think. With all these resources to get free books, why didn't he utilize any of them? But I didn't verbalize this to him. So he kept talking, and he asked me how long would it take him to read the books, and how many pages were each of the books. So the best answer I could give him was, I don't know. How many pages are you going to read each time you read? And that would be the answer to your question. So we parted ways. And I couldn't help but think to myself, he must not really want to be rich. Because if that was me, I wouldn't give a damn if each book was 100,000 pages. And I had to read it for 15 hours a day. That's exactly what I would do. And I would do it twice. Because I'm not hungry. And I want to be rich that bad. So obviously, he didn't want to be rich. It just sounded great in conversation. And then I thought of another example that would make it more simple for me to understand. If somebody approached me and told me that they were starving, they hadn't eaten in 4 days, and I showed them where the food was, and they asked me, how long would it take them to eat it? No. Hungry people don't do that. Hungry people eat. So it made me come to the conclusion that he wasn't hungry. So the question I pose to you is, are you hungry for whatever it is that you say you want, for your goal or your dream? Are you willing to do whatever it takes for however long it takes? If the answer to that question is no, it's okay. You keep on searching for your niche. But if the answer is yes, then I beg of you, you keep grinding as hard as you can grind. You keep pushing as hard as you can push. And you keep working as long as you can work. Keep learning, unlearning, and relearning. And I promise you, if you do that, you will undoubtedly attain success. Let's get it. Level up.